Welcome along to episode 8 now of the Apprentice Angle. It's been a whirlwind since we first started this series. I think now we're 8 weeks into it. It's pretty mind-boggling. It's been really good and it's going really fast too. The great news is the Apprentice Jockeys Championship started last week, so we're well underway now in terms of the championship standings. It's still very much early doors yet. A lot of, pardon the pun here, jockeying around 4 positions in the championship. We've not got really a clear leader at the moment, but that'll all improve and all sort of filter its way through as we rolled into sort of mid-June, early July as well. Before we start, yesterday I was at Lingfield for the Oaks and Derby trials on the all-weather due to the poor wet weather we had during the week, which saw Lingfield switch from the turf to the all-weather. I don't think we learned too much in regards to the classic pictures. I don't think the Derby picture nor the Oaks pictures changed drastically yet. I think that might sort of make some sort of minor movements towards the end of next week after we've had the Dante and even the Musadora too. Um, but Military Orders was very gutsy, winning the Derby trial, and he's currently 4-1, I think, now for the Derby itself, which at the moment I'd be happy enough to sort of stay away from. I'm very much a big Dubai Mile fan for the Derby. I think he's crying out for this mile and a half trip. Running back over a mile last time was just the ideal prep for him, staying on fifth in the Guineas, which was a lovely trial, in my opinion, anyway. I saw him win on debut at Windsor. He was green as grass that day, but was very much a very promising colt, and he's built upon that, winning the Group 1 in Saint-Cloud as well. He'd be my pick for Derby at the moment. And to be honest, the Derby picture at the moment is slightly murky. We yet to have a contender really come out and stamp his authority amongst the 3-year-olds. August Rodin's still around 4-1 at the moment too. I can't quite work out why really after his Guineas debacle. But the Oaks trial itself as well, Godolphin won that too. Look, I'm not too sure whether at this moment in time how strong both 3-year-old divisions are at the moment, but we'll soon find out after York next week where we stand as well going forward. And you'd hope something from Ireland might come out again, like say the last dance at Chester last week as well, and stamp their authority on those divisions. Also, just to touch upon finishing up on Linkfield Sacred, once again was very good on seasonal reappearance. She's always been good in that grade, and she duly obliged and won quite comfortably as well. But anyway, moving into the main bulk of why we're here, it's week 8 now of the Apprentice Angle, and we'll start things off by looking at Wednesday's action at Kempton on under the floodlights, or not the floodlights now due to the clocks going back anyway. But Alec Wojcicki and Basilisa won again on Wednesday night. They both teamed up to win for a second win. They won a couple of weeks ago and built on that success by winning here. And Basilisa herself looks a nice filly to keep an eye on, especially in higher grade, maybe on better ground really. But she won very gutsily here, and it's good to see Alec building upon riding out a £7 claim a couple of weeks ago. He's doing quite well at the moment, Alec, and he's really progressing well. And with the championship starting now, he's very much number one apprentice in Rich Tannen's yard. We'll touch upon another apprentice in Richard's yard who had a good winner on Saturday as well towards the end of this video. But Alex doing all the right things so far, and he's very much starting off as he means to go on throughout the rest of the summer. And also Hodler won the last race at Chester on Wednesday under Ryan Sexton for Jim Boyle. The pair teamed up last season in the pouring rain at Epsom over a mile and a half to win there as well, and they both got under back to winning ways here as well on Wednesday. Ryan's doing very well at the moment too, claiming his £3 now after a very good season last year, again up to the half century, 50 winners for the season last year, and he's kicked off his season this year in good style too. And a nice win for Jim Boyle too. He's a very much an underrated trainer in my opinion. Just trains across the road from Epsom Downs Racecourse too, but he's very much a trainer on the up. And it was good to see Hodler get back to winning ways here. On Thursday at Southall, it was the first career ride for young Ryan Kavanagh for Amy Murphy as boss of All the Greatest Showman, and the pair teamed up to finish fifth there. I expect we'll see more of Ryan over the course of the summer. He's only just got his licence out not too long ago. I remember seeing him on social media up at the racing school on his apprentice licence course towards the start of this year too. So it's great to see him have his first ride under rules anyway. And it was a good start for him, finishing fifth of All the Greatest Showman, as we mentioned. The Greatest Showman himself seems to be a very good schoolmaster. He's been a horse who's been or provided plenty of chances for apprentice jockeys over the last couple of seasons now, and it was a good start to his career as well. And we wish him all the very best going forward. And also at Thurscombe went on Thursday evening. It was a nice winner for Laura Pearson aboard Sparks Fly for David Loughnane and Dave Lowe in the catchy colours. And Sparks Fly won quite comfortably in the end too. It was a nice success for Sparks Fly, and Sparks Fly very much looks a nice horse to follow going into the rest of these upcoming summer months. Moving into Friday now, we're going to rattle through some apprentice handicaps with a couple at Ascot and one at Chester as well. And we'll start off with Ascot. Christian Howarth once again seems a good, effectable blazing 5 here, winning the 2 mile handicap, narrowly hanging on from the late thrust of Monsieur Lambray's and Aidan Keeley. Aidan just missed on Monsieur Lambray's, very unlucky in the end, but this was a very good, positive ride by Christian Howarth. He's sat just off the pace, took it up turning for home, kicked off the bend, and just did enough to hang on here for Roger Till. We mentioned last week Christian was seen to good effect at Pontefract and the Future Star Series there as well for Ruth Carr, and he's built upon that with a nice win here again today, last week as well on Friday as well. So he's very much doing well at the moment. And Christian himself is building a good foundation for a very good career at the moment. He's still claiming his £5 at the moment, and this was a good winner for him here at Ascot as well. A nice big track like Ascot to get a good Group 1 success at a Group 1 track's always brilliant. And it was a good ride by Christian here as well. And also, we move into the final race on the card on the Friday Chester Cup Day, the Apprentice Handicap at Chester. Went away a comfortable success in the end for Greystoke and Benoit de la Sayette, the reigning apprentice jockey, and Alan King. Greystoke took it up turning for home and won quite comfortably as well. Sticking with Benoit, I was pleased to see Vaffortino run a very nice race in the Victoria Cup yesterday as well. I felt Vaffortino might have just been lit up by the early pace set by Taylor Fisher. They went a really strong gallop, that stand-side group in the end. And Vaffortino himself finished third of that group. He finished just behind Biggles in the end, who come out from the pack in that group and managed to poach second. But a very nice run in the end by Vaffortino, who I think will be a nice horse to keep on the right side of in those big handicaps going forward this summer. But Benoit again started off his campaign in very good style, as we mentioned in the last couple of weeks here, and I expect him to really be giving us a good go now, trying to go back to back and winning 2 Apprentice Jockeys Championships. Dandy Spirit was a nice win at Nottingham on Friday, the last race at Nottingham on their Friday card for Johnny Pete and Roger Fell. Johnny himself doing very well at the moment too. We mentioned him many a time so far this year as well, and he just the horse himself did just hang slightly right at times in the conclusion of this race, but Johnny himself, very good strong rider, as we mentioned before, managed to get the horse straightened up, and he actually won quite well in the end too. So it was nice to see Johnny back in the winners enclosure. And the Roger Fell team have got some nice horses going forward too, but Johnny's moving on the upward trajectory here, and it was good to see him get a nice one in there. And finally, to conclude with this, we're going to round things off by talking about Nottingham on Saturday. A very interesting apprentice jockey's handicap kicked things off on the Saturday card at Nottingham. It was a close finish in the end too, and it went away with Joe Leavy and Maskell for James Evans. Now, Maskell last time out on Good Friday at Bath was very much a big eye catcher in that handicap. He came very late, got fifth, but was very much an eye catcher on the day as well. The soft ground here was a slight question mark, but Maskell seemed to relish the soft ground and won pretty cosily in the end. A late thrust in the end from Red Derrick, I think it was, Mohamed Tabti just missed. But I'm very pleased for Joe. He's very much one of the more polished £7 claimers around. A very nice, tidy jockey too. Who's really improved over the last couple of months. It's his second career winner now too, after winning a ball Dodgy Bob at a huge price at the start of this year at Wolverhampton under the floodlights. And hopefully now Joe can kick on. He's got a nice connection there with James Evans. James himself's given him a nice couple of rides, a couple of close calls on Kentucky Connection at Chelmsford a couple of starts ago, and also a nice couple of other spare rides along the way too. But Joe's very much on the way up in that Rich Talent yard too with Alec Wojkanski. Seems to be a very good pool of talent in Richard's yard going forward this summer, and I wish Joe all the very best. He started off his career in good style here, and this winner now should hopefully help him settle down and build going into the rest of these upcoming summer months. And very much I expect Joe to be a name to watch in these apprentice jockeys handicaps and apprentice series is going throughout the rest of the summer too. But that was, guys, episode 8 of the Apprentice Angle. If you did enjoy it, hit the thumbs up, the like button on YouTube, subscribe as well to the channel if you're new around here as well. And I'll see you all next week for week 9.